After dinner, Jack picks me up, and we start walking through the streets towards Sue, the party area. It's a silent acknowledgement that with the ID devices tracking our every move, visiting the places where Jack's friends gather is no longer an option. Dressed in a simple yet elegant little black dress, I opted for discretion tonight. A stark change from the floral dress that had attracted far too much attention the last time. Jack, true to his style, is wearing jeans and a black shirt. He walks with a confident stride, masking the palpable tension that hangs between us. We are two shadows in the night, walking side by side, so close yet so distant. I feel the warmth of his body radiating near mine, a silent comfort. An irresistible urge to move closer, to break this invisible distance washes over me, but I resist the impulse. For a few minutes, we walk in silence, each lost in our thoughts, until I can't hold back any longer. Thinking about Hask's offer, I can't deny it's tempting, I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. But there are so many unknowns, so many risks with a unit that's so secretive and independent. It's honestly kind of terrifying. I look at him, wide-eyed. Jack's response is heavy with an emotion that he rarely shows. "You're right to be scared," he says, a hardness in his voice. "What we've done here at the Academy, it's nothing compared to what awaits for me in the SRU." He pauses, a bitter edge creeping into his tone. "Yes, for me," he continues, "because I don't really have a choice." It's a stark admission, revealing the depth of the corner he's been backed into. For Jack, the situation is dire. He needs to secure the position to evade the charges against him. It's a heavy burden, one that I can see weighing him down with every step we take. A sense of inevitability begins to envelop me, like a net slowly descending. The realization hits me with a clarity that is both startling and undeniable. Jack, despite his strengths and skills, might not be able to secure the position on his own. He's undoubtedly the best fighter I've ever encountered, a force to be reckoned with in physical confrontations, a lethal weapon. But that alone won't cut it. It also requires technical expertise, areas where I excel. My skills include a deep understanding of cutting-edge technologies. Where others see walls, I see doors. Obstacles that others find insurmountable, I view as opportunities. My knack for spotting weaknesses in systems and turning them into strategic advantages makes me his indispensable asset. The more I think about it, the more apparent it becomes that he needs me. My technical knowledge, the way I approach problems, these are the pieces that Jack lacks. Together, we complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's a partnership that, despite its unexpectedness, makes a strange kind of sense. Walking alongside Jack, a resolution begins to form within me, but it's not yet clear enough to put into words. I still need to think it through. Reaching out, I gently touch his arm near where the ID device is attached. "I'm going to help with this," I say softly, feeling the cool metal under my fingers. "I have a plan, but I need to get back to the university. It's going to take some time, though." At my words, I feel a shift in Jack's mood. He glances down at me, a smile breaking through the seriousness that has shadowed his features. In a rare display of genuine affection, he pulls me under his arm and plants a kiss on my hair. "Thanks, Eva," he murmurs, his voice carrying a warmth that momentarily pushes away the cloud of uncertainty hovering over us. The nightlife awakens around us, vibrant and lively as we reach Sue. Neon lights illuminate the faces of passers-by, but my mind is a whirlwind of thoughts and plans. Joining the Strategic Response Unit means venturing into uncharted territory, facing unpredictable dangers and challenges. But it also promises security, not only financial security for my family, but also a sense of power and control in a world where such things are rare and reserved for a select few. And then there's Jack. It's a risk, but it's also aligning myself with someone who has become an unexpected partner in a world that is proving to be more treacherous and unpredictable than I could have ever imagined. In my mind, the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together, each falling into place with surprising clarity. Joining this special unit with Jack isn't just a choice. It's like a path unfolding before me, a path I'm following without even realizing it. The thought is both daunting and exhilarating. I glance at Jack, his profile illuminated by the lights that flicker in the night. The idea of us as a team facing whatever the world might throw our way doesn't seem as improbable as it once did. In fact, it feels inevitable. We stop before a building that whispers of bygone days. Its facade, weathered and untouched by time's renovating hand, presents a poignant contrast to the vibrant, well-groomed faces of the neighboring structures. This relic of a building, with its faded charm, seems almost out of place. The pulsating music spills out from the entrance, accompanied by the erratic dance of stroboscopic lights. I can't help but think, with a hint of irony, that even when choosing a club, Jack gravitates towards the most unassuming, almost shabby places. As we approach, Jack gives a familiar nod to the imposing bouncer guarding the entrance. It's clear they know each other. The bouncer steps aside, patting Jack on the shoulder, granting us entry without a word. Inside, the bass of the music vibrates through the floor, the lights creating a kaleidoscope of colors that wash over the crowd. The energy and noise envelop us in a lively, almost chaotic embrace. I can't help but notice the women in the crowd, their attire catching my eye. It's as if the dress code was inspired by a nerdy designer's challenge. How little fabric can be used while still technically qualifying as a dress? The fashion ranges from minimalist chic to full-on audacity, resembling what I imagine modern-day sirens might wear if their sea was a nightclub designed to lure sailors to their doom. Each dress seems to defy the laws of physics in its own minimalistic way. I lean closer to Jack, raising my voice to be heard over the music. "Looks like the theme tonight is less is more in the wardrobe department," I comment with a playful nudge. I can't resist continuing the playful banter, a wide grin spreading across my face. To my delight, it's not just the sirens gracing this dress code tonight, but the shirtless sailors too, I tease. Several men in the crowd are shirtless, confidently displaying an array of physiques. With a mischievous glint in my eye, I let my gaze wander over the crowd again, this time allowing my appreciation to show more openly. Casually, almost theatrically, I lick my lower lip, fully aware of Jack's gaze on me. It's a deliberate act, a playful challenge, and I'm curious to see how he'll react. He leans in slightly, his voice tinged with humor. "Enjoying the view, are we?" I meet his gaze, my smile widening. "I'm just estimating the opportunities," I reply, the tone of my voice light, yet layered with a hint of flirtation. It's a dance of words and expressions between us, a playful back and forth that adds an edge to our interaction. As the night unfolds in the club, the atmosphere becomes a blur of lights, music, and movement. There are drinks, each one making the world around us a little hazier, a little less defined. The rhythm of the music seems to pulse through my veins, urging me to let go, to lose myself in the moment. Dancing with Jack, I feel the brush of his body against mine, a thrilling connection. The beat of the music guides our movements, our bodies syncing to the same rhythm. There's a sense of liberation in this, a freedom found in the throb of the bass and the swirl of the lights. His hands on my body as we dance send waves of a delicious burn through me, a sensation that's both exhilarating and intense. Each touch, each movement, is a language of its own, his fingers tracing patterns on my back, a pressure that speaks of a connection deeper than the music and the dance. Around us, the club is alive with dancers, the sirens and the sailors. They join us in the dance, a sea of intermingled forms moving in unison, each person from a different reality, bodies connected by the shared experience of the night. The boundaries between us all blur, the distinctions of our human shells merge into one harmonious flow. As I lose sight of with whom I'm dancing, the room transforms into a sea of sensual bodies pulsating with the rhythm of the music. We are a living, breathing entity made up of each person's joy, excitement, and surrender. It's as if I'm floating in a pool of sensations, every beat of the music, every swirl of light, every brush of a dancer's body against mine, adding to the exhilarating feeling of liberation. The energy is intoxicating, drawing everyone deeper into a collective trance where personal space fade into the shared ecstasy of the moment. In the frenzy of dancing, as I'm lost in the pulsating beats and the sea of bodies, a sudden change pulls me back to the moment. Strong arms encircle my waist, and I feel the press of a hard body against my back. The unexpected contact startles me, snapping me out of my trance. Recognizing the familiar contours of Jack's body pressed against mine, a smile instinctively forms on my lips. His mouth comes close to my ear, and his deep voice, barely audible over the music, orders me to turn. The command, though softly spoken, carries an undeniable intensity. Obedient to his directive, I cease my dancing and turn around to face him. Our eyes meet directly, his gaze hooded, dangerous, and dark. It's a look that sends a thrilling mix of excitement and apprehension coursing through me, a potent cocktail of emotions that leaves me momentarily breathless. In a spontaneous reaction, I find myself biting my lower lip, a gesture born of the tension and anticipation building within me. His eyes follow the movement, lingering on my mouth for a split second before he acts. Jack closes the distance between us. His lips crash against mine in a kiss that's charged with the energy of the night, the pent-up emotions, and the unspoken connection we share. The kiss is demanding and deep, his tongue playing with mine. Then he stops abruptly and looks at me with a questioning look in his eyes. Fuck. I crave him. I want him on me, in me. Desire courses through me like wildfire, my entire being aching for more of his touch. But we're so far from our rooms, and that distance seems impossible to bridge right now. The music continues to pulse around us, but all I can hear is the frantic beat of my heart. I lock eyes with him, hoping he can decipher my thoughts, the urgency of my need. Every second that passes intensifies the tension, the exquisite frustration in the air. Jack's mouth curls into a wicked grin that hints at audacity, his eyes alight with an unspoken challenge. Gripping my hand firmly, he leads me through the dense crowd, navigating the sea of dancing bodies with an ease that speaks of his confidence and familiarity with such environments. I follow him, caught up in the whirlwind of his movement. My heart races with a mix of anticipation and curiosity. We weave through the club, the music and lights a vibrant backdrop to this unexpected journey. I'm unsure of our destination, trusting Jack to lead the way. Abruptly, he halts and opens the door. Jack leads me into the women's bathroom, a stark contrast to the vibrant chaos of the club we've just left. The walls are covered in black square tiles, their glossy surface giving the room an aura reminiscent of ancient times. The air in the bathroom is heavy with the faint scents of cigarette smoke, weed, and sweat. Each toilet booth is a separate entity, the black doors standing like silent guardians, a fake privacy in this otherwise open and public space. Some doors hang slightly ajar on their well-worn hinges, revealing glimpses of their tenants. My eyes are drawn to the scribbles and messages etched on the walls and doors by random passers-by, declarations of love, names encased in hearts, fleeting thoughts left behind by people like Jane, Mark, Jenna. Each one tells a story, a moment captured in time, a whisper of the many lives that have passed through here. Jack opens a stall door to enter, but it is already occupied by two women who are passionately kissing. They stop for a moment and look at him. "Would you like to join us, gorgeous?" they ask with an inviting smile. Jack returns her smile with deliberate slowness, a hint of promise in his eyes. "Maybe later," he murmurs before heading towards the next booth. He takes me inside and closes the door behind me. This booth gives the illusion of privacy. I can't see the other because the wooden partition walls are higher than I'm, but I can hear everything, the music outside, the moans of the girls in the booth next to us. Jack presses his body against mine, my back firmly pinned against the door. The pressure of his body envelops me, every inch of his skin seeming to burn against mine. His mouth finally finds mine in a passionate kiss, devoid of hesitation or doubt. This isn't just a kiss. It's an explosion of passion, a silent declaration of desire. His lips are urgent, exploratory, as if they seek to mark every corner of me. His hands glide along my hips, then slowly move upward, pausing just long enough to make me shiver. I feel the heat of his palms through the fabric of my dress, and each touch ignites my desire a little more. Our breaths mingle, clash, creating a disordered yet captivating melody. The outside world fades away, leaving just the two of us, lost in this burning embrace. I cling to him, my fingers tangling in his hair, pulling slightly to deepen our kiss. The intensity of the moment makes my head spin. Every movement of his lips, every caress of his tongue against mine, takes me further into a whirlwind of sensations. It's as if our entire universe is concentrated in this single point of contact, in this devouring passion that consumes us both. My fingers slowly trace up his sides, exploring every curve, every contour of his firm muscles. I can feel the power beneath my palm, a contained force ready to explode at any moment. His mouth tastes exquisite, an intoxicating mix of gin and him, a flavor that leaves me nearly drunk with desire. I tug at the bottom of his shirt and pull it up over his head. I need to touch his skin, letting my fingers trace the hard muscles of his abdomen. This can't be real. He feels like he's fallen out of one of my wildest fantasies. He slows the kiss, then moves his mouth lower to my neck, to those sensitive areas that make me moan with sensation. His hands dive under my dress and pull my thong down to fall on the floor. In the dim light of the bathroom, a sense of reality wants to seep back into my consciousness. The swelling noise of the club is replaced by the more immediate sounds of our breathing and the faint voices from the other booths. "Jack," I whisper, my voice barely audible. The realization of what we're about to do dawns on me, piercing through the foggy haze of my mind. He doesn't allow himself to be distracted, his mouth still kissing my neck. He slides his fingers between my thighs, brushing over my clit with expert strokes. I shudder, gasping desperately for air as his passionate assault silences my consciousness. My breath catches, mixing with a muffled moan. His fingers have the perfect measure of pressure, the ideal amount of friction. There is only raw sensation, a rising tide of desire, threatening to overwhelm me. My hands cling to his shoulders, my nails digging slightly into his skin, seeking an anchor in this whirlwind of sensations. With trembling muscles, I manage to move my hand over his pants, feeling the length of him straighten against the fabric. I crave that part of him inside me, and right now, I don't care where we are. A groan escapes from his throat and echoes in my neck. My hands find his waistband and with frenetic movements, open his pants, freeing him. This is exactly what I need. His mouth moves back to mine, and the kiss is slow and deep. While his hands are away from me, the time to put on a condom. I tighten my hands around his neck and wrap my legs around him, feeling his length between my thighs, but not exactly where I need it. A frustrated groan escapes my lips. "Why so impatient, Eva?" he tweezes. A short, satisfied laugh comes out of him. Then, supporting my thighs with his hands, he enters me in one swift movement, stretching me. I feel this delicious burn on the edge of ache. I moan as sparkling ecstasy spreads throughout my veins. Then he starts to move, building more pleasure with each stroke. My breath comes in ragged gasps, and I feel the pressure building inside me. He picks up the pace, the pleasure building with each stroke. I'm getting closer, but not there yet. It's so frantic. Every movement is swift, almost desperate, as if we are consumed by an uncontrollable urgency. Each stroke, better than the last, builds more pressure inside me. I'm getting closer to the release I'm so longing for. Almost there. Then he stops abruptly, gets out of me, and lets my feet slide to the floor. "What the hell?" I watch him with a questioning look. My eyebrows furrow slightly, and my eyes search his. For 2 seconds, he just watches me intently, then turns me around to face the door, my back against his chest, and whispers those teasing words into my ear again. "So impatient, Eva." Then his control snapped, and there's nothing polished about the next actions. He's inside me again, driving at a hard, punishing pace. With my hands, I push against the cabin door, trying to gain leverage to meet his blows. Yes, I feel him in that sensitive spot inside me, again and again. This is just the perfect move. I can't hold it anymore. I tremble. My muscles lock up, my lungs gasp for air. Hot pleasure strikes through my body, and I cry out. I fall over the edge in this blissful flood of ecstasy, surrendering to this wave of sensations. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated bliss. Short after, I feel him follow me, toppling over in his own release. We remain locked together for a few more seconds, trying to catch our breath. We then untangle ourselves from each other. He pulls up his pants and settles onto the closed lid of the toilet. I feel my body being pulled onto his lap. As I slowly come back to reality, my mind is still adrift in the lingering haze of pleasure, struggling to piece together coherent thoughts. My senses are gradually returning, but everything feels surreal, like I'm still partly caught in a dream. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the fog in my head. "Hot performance," I hear someone say. Startled, I look up to see the kissing women from the next booth, peering over the booth's divider, their faces lit up with a mixture of amusement and envy. I'm taken aback, realizing that our private moment wasn't so private after all. They had been spectators, enjoying the show we unwittingly put on. There's a sense of surrealism to the situation, a feeling that I've stepped into a scene that's part reality, part fantasy. The blonde woman extends her cigarette towards Jack, who accepts it with a relaxed ease, unfazed by the attention. He nonchalantly takes a puff, shoulders relaxed, a small smirk forming on his lips. The smoke curls around him, and he looks happy, lost in the moment. His eyes are relaxed, a softness in them that I don't often see. Is it the aftermath of our fuck or the effect of the weed in the cigarette? But it's the unmistakable happiness in his smile that catches my attention. It's genuine, unguarded, and in this moment, he seems miles away from the complexities that surround us. I sit there, a mix of embarrassment and exhilaration coursing through me. The realization that we had an audience is disconcerting. Yet, there's a part of me that's thrilled by the recklessness of it all. It's a stark departure from the careful, calculated decisions that usually define my life. In the aftermath, a jumble of emotions churns inside me. I'm tangled up in a mix of excitement and uncertainty, not quite sure how to digest what just happened in that club bathroom or who might have seen it. This isn't my usual style, letting go like this, living in the moment. It's Jack's world, full of sensations and experiences that feel completely foreign to me. The thrill of the moment, intoxicating as it is, fails to quell the turmoil within me. I'm not Jack. The ease with which he surrenders to his desires eludes me. A weight of realization descends, and the walls around seem to close in, oppressive and uncomfortably near. I feel like an actress in a play written for someone else, portraying a character that doesn't fit my skin. Suddenly overwhelmed, I have an urgent need to escape, to find a space where I can breathe and gather my thoughts. The club, once a place of surrender, now feels suffocating, the air thick and the lights too harsh. Jack senses the change in my mood, the agitation in me, and quickly pulls his shirt back over his head. I don't bother picking up my thong from the floor, ruined anyway. My only thought is to get out of here, to find some semblance of normalcy. I push through the bathroom door, my steps quick and determined. As I navigate through the crowd towards the exit, the music and chatter fade into a distant buzz. My mind races, trying to make sense of the conflicting emotions, grappling with the exhilaration of the moment and the discomfort of stepping far beyond my comfort zone. Getting out of the club, the night air hits me like a familiar embrace, cool and refreshing against my heated skin. It envelops me, and I can't help but shiver, not from the chill, but from the soothing sensation it brings. I feel the lingering burn between my bare thighs leave me with the cool air. It's a physical reaction that seems to mirror the state of my emotions, relief. I pause for a moment, closing my eyes, allowing the night breeze to clear the fog that has settled in my mind. I take deep breaths, each inhale bringing a sense of clarity, each exhale a release of the tension that has built up within me. When I open my eyes, I find Jack standing a few steps away. His gaze is fixed on me, intense yet respectful of the space he's giving me. It's a silent acknowledgement of my need to process, to gather my scattered thoughts. In his eyes, there's an understanding, a recognition of the whirlwind of feelings that I'm grappling with. Being with Jack pulls me into a world that's enchanting yet dangerous. My usual sense of control evaporates. His world is one of decadence, a place where rules and conventions are blurred, replaced by an intoxicating freedom that's both exhilarating and unnerving. His presence has an almost narcotic effect on me. It's a potent mix of danger and allure that I find too hard to resist. Being near him, feeling the heat of his body, the strength of his touch, it's like a drug that I've become addicted to, one that makes me lose all sense of my surroundings, my moral compass, and even my sense of decency. It's a dangerous mix. It distracts me from my usual instincts for self-preservation and safety. In his company, I find myself willing to take risks I wouldn't normally consider, to step into situations that defy my better judgment. Take a deep breath and think, Eva. The choice to team up with Jack for the Strategic Response Unit was clear in my mind even before we stepped into the whirlwind of the club. Yes, I will team up with Jack to secure our position in the unit. But now, as the feeling of him inside me still reverberates between my legs, another truth emerges, stark and undeniable. Him fucking me to oblivion, as intoxicating and mind-blowing as it is, poses a significant risk. It's a distraction, a potential weakness in a situation where focus and clarity are paramount. While teaming up with Jack in this new chapter of my life is a strategic decision, a necessary alliance in this complex game we're playing. Our intense, mind-blowing sex cannot continue alongside it. The risk is too great, the danger of losing focus, of being consumed by the passion and intensity that seem to ignite effortlessly between us. The very thing that draws me to Jack, the magnetic pull, the exhilarating loss of control in his presence, is what makes our relationship too perilous to pursue in the high-stakes environment. In the world of covert operations, where every decision can mean the difference between success and disaster, such distraction could prove fatal. As much as my body craves the exhilaration and escapism our passionate encounter offers, I know we must maintain a certain distance, a professional boundary that will ensure our survival. Leaning against the worn wall of the old building, Jack waits for me, his posture relaxed yet alert. I walk up to him, the sound of my footsteps echoing lightly on the pavement. The night air is thick with the scent of impending rain, setting the adequate backdrop for the difficult conversation I must initiate. Jack, there's something I need to tell you. Something I should have said before we stepped into that club. I start, my voice steady but revealing a hint of the gravity of what I'm about to disclose. He looks at me, his brow furrowing in confusion, a silent question in his gaze. Taking a deep breath, I continue. I've decided to team up with you for the SRU position. There are many reasons for my decision, but more importantly, I view this as a chance to deepen my understanding of our society. Simply navigating the world of science is no longer enough for me. I want to gain a broader perspective on the world we share. Jack's muscles tensed, the vein at the base of his neck throbbing visibly as he fought to control his anger. When he spoke, his voice was clipped, the words sharp as knives. It's not a chance, Eva. It's a sure way to get yourself killed. Unflinching, I met his intense gaze, my voice steady, infused with a quiet strength. We're all going to die one day, Jack. But until then, I refuse to bury my head in the sand and pretend that this world is perfect. I refuse to live this lie. Jack's jaw clenched, his teeth grinding as he fought to control his rising anger. You don't understand what the SRU is, Eva, or what's at stake in this competition. The ones who are not the winner are the dead, he hissed, the harshness of his words cutting through the tense air between us. His revelation hung heavily, a chilling silence following his statement. His words struck me like a physical blow, each syllable laden with a weight that threatened to buckle my knees. Yet, beneath the harsh reality of his statement, a clearer understanding emerged. For Jack to survive this ordeal, he needs me by his side. But he would never acknowledge this truth. I know it. In a gentle voice, I attempt to soothe the situation. I'm not that naive, you know. I understand what's at stake. Even if by some miracle we secure this job, things only get worse from there. Eva, your ideals, your intentions, admirable. Jack said, his voice rising in exasperation. But you've lost your mind. The operatives from the SRU are not mere problem solvers. They are killers, enforcers, agents of corruption. I'm terrified. Yet backing down now isn't an option. Jack, stop. I won't back down. I'll stick by his side, much like at the ravine, teetering on the edge of disaster. Yes, I must be mad. The air between us, charged with tension, a silent standoff as we each held our ground. With a frustrated groan, he turns and starts walking towards the academy. I follow him, the weight of the decision and the challenges ahead settling over me. In the grip of my nervousness, my hands tremble almost imperceptibly. I can feel my heart pounding fiercely, a funeral march echoing against my chest. The time has come to reveal what I wish I could keep silent. I take a deep breath, gathering my courage. There's something else, I start, my voice barely more than a whisper. Jack's voice dripped with sarcasm as he turned slightly to glance back at me. Oh, great. More stupid ideas you need to share? His words stung, and his tone is laced with frustration. I don't know if I'll survive this, but I push through. We have to stop this. Gesturing between us. Whatever it is that's happening between us. Jack's reaction is immediate. He slows his pace, turning to look at me with eyes that are narrowed, guarded. The intensity of his gaze feels like it's searching for something deeper in my words. I continue, my voice firmer, fueled by the clarity of my decision. What happened tonight? We can't lose ourselves like that. Not when there's danger all around us. I need to remain focused. For a moment, Jack's expression is unreadable, a carefully maintained mask. Then he speaks, his voice cautious but clear. I don't have a problem staying focused while I'm inside you. I lift my chin, even though my legs are about to give way. Despite the difficulty of what I'm about to say, I know it needs to be said. But I can't, I admit, my voice laced with a mixture of frustration and vulnerability. My words spill out in a cascade. I'm not like you, Jack. You seem to handle sex with such ease, like our encounters are just some recreational leisure to free your mind. But I can't see it that way. My words come out in a rush, a torrent of emotions that I've been holding back. I can't bear the idea of you fucking tomorrow that blonde siren from the next booth, and I know you will, or some other siren, because that's how you are. You have this unbounded, easygoing nature that I truly admire, and I don't want to change that about you. It's just that I can't simply brush it off and do the same. I'm not built that way, and it distracts me, pulls my focus away from what we need to achieve with the SRU. Jack's reaction is swift and sharp. His anger flashes in his eyes, a rare sight. He locks his gaze directly into mine, a trace of bitterness in his tone. Your call, he says tersely, his words hitting me hard. This surprises me. I never imagined my decision would impact him so profoundly. He's the no-strings-attached type, or so I thought, supposed to be pleased with my proposal. But his eyes, they betray anger and a hint of loss, emotions that seem to startle him just as much as they do me. Where has the cool, detached man gone, the one shrouded behind a mask of indifference? Instead, a vivid flash of emotion in his eyes has shattered the walls he's built around himself. Internally, I fight my own battle against my self-reproach, grappling with the consequences of my words. It's a blow for having silenced the natural cries of my body, a harsh self-critique for letting reason overpower the raw, primal nature of my desires. Every part of me questions whether I'm completely mad. The logical part of my mind tells me to be practical, but deep down, I really want to break free from those rules. Tonight, trying to make the right decisions feels like being a contestant in a game of life where I have to guess the rules. Here I stand, answering with apparent certainty, as though I understand everything that's unfolding. But in truth, I don't. I'm just pretending. As the first light of dawn filters through, we're summoned back to the university, a return to some semblance of normalcy tinged with a surreal edge. The weight of relentless training hangs over me, an unavoidable load I must bear to endure the harsh selection process for the SRU. Despite his resistance to my decision, I must bridge the gap with Jack. I'll find a way to close the distance between us, to mend the rift, because unity is the only key to our mutual survival in this rigorous ordeal. Lying in my bed, I feel imprisoned in sheets of deceptive coolness, while I burn, consumed by a fever of thoughts. Training and competition loom before me, like a mountain whose peaks are hidden in the mists of uncertainty and peril. Every muscle in my body tenses at the thought, aware that this challenge will be less about strategy and more about survival. My decision is made unshakable. I will stand by Jack no matter what trials await us. My desire to unravel the mysteries of this world only grows, to reveal the labyrinthine complexity of the Council's politics, to expose the gaping flaws and blatant injustices of our system. Then there's the ever-present tracking device, monitoring our every move, recording every sound. My mission is clear. I must disable it, render it blind and deaf to our actions. Seeking assistance at the university becomes a delicate and perilous task under the Consortium's watchful eye. One wrong move and we'll vanish without a trace. And then there's Jack. Our bond, forged in shared struggle, threatens to engulf me like wildfire. Desire, fierce and undeniable, rages within me. But in this world where emotions can be lethal, it's a luxury I can't afford. I must compartmentalize, lock away these feelings, keeping them hidden from daylight. It'll be my greatest challenge, a battle of will against desire. I'm unsure if I'll succeed in denying myself what I crave, but it's the only path to survival in the chapters ahead. Staring at the ceiling, I find myself on the verge of returning to normalcy, a concept now foreign and nearly surreal. How can I just go back to classes, study as if nothing has happened, as if I haven't been transformed to the core of my being? On the outside, almost no sign betrays the battles I've fought, the decisions made in the heart of chaos, the strength I've had to summon from within. Yet inside, I feel I'm no longer the same. Who have I become through these trials? The woman who walked to lectures with carefree ease now seems like a stranger, a shadow of a bygone past. I feel like an imposter in my own life, playing a role for which the script has been irrevocably altered. Transitioning from a warrior returning from battles to a mere student is more heartbreaking than anticipated. Who am I now, if not someone else trapped in the same body? From my own plans and a calculated life as a science student with a clear future, I now find myself, in the space of a month, far, very far away. I'm now entangled in a web of unexplored paths, with deadly traps along the way. In the new theater of my existence, there is neither black nor white, but a dazzling array of grays, a kaleidoscope of nuances that I desire to decipher with the ardor of a gold seeker. My soul is assaulted by wild emotions, forbidden desires, like unpredictable actors on the stage of my consciousness. These feelings, I bury them in the darkest recesses of my being, locking them up tightly for fear that they might unleash a storm capable of ravaging the precarious balance of my inner universe. At the university, I will wear a mask of normality, perfectly adjusted to deceive every gaze. The Eva who left her university residence room a month ago will seem to be the same who returns. But beneath this facade, a silent revolution has taken place. I'm no longer the same. The scientist in me has merged with a warrior. My body, once merely a tool of the mind, is now a shield, a temple of resilience. But it's my consciousness that has undergone the most radical transformation. Before, I was naive, sheltered by the false security and fabricated order imposed by the Consortium. But now, having glimpsed the truths buried beneath layers of deception and propaganda, my innocence has been stripped away. This new dawn, the messenger of the ordinary and the extraordinary, finds me here, a solitary silhouette on the threshold of an unknown and reinvented existence. End of Book 1. The adventure is far from over. Find out what happens next in the next volume.
Dear listeners, a huge thank you for stepping into the world of Unveiling, the Consortium's world. Knowing that you took the time to listen, to follow Eva's journey, and to experience her struggles and triumphs alongside her means the world to me. But the adventure isn't over. Immersion, the Consortium's world T2 is coming soon. You'll be able to discover it in Kindle and paperback starting March 2025 on Amazon.com. I can't wait to share the next chapter with you. Get ready for more twists, action, and deep dives into the system. See you soon, and once again, 1,000 thanks, Natalie.